Intermittent fasting is going to have its place realistically for three reasons. It's going to give you a set time frame to eat your food, so you're not going to be as determined to go and eat something else. It's going to help in terms of a digestive reset, so your body's going to effectively have a self-cleaning system in place to help you digest food, and it's also just a fancy word for skipping breakfast. But we're going to go over the details of how it all will make sense to an individual, why I would recommend it to some, why I wouldn't recommend it to others. So for me, the meal timing process, I've mentioned this before in the past, realistically, if you're living day to day, you're going to need the majority of your energy towards the start of the day and then sort of peaking off and tapering off towards the end. Especially if you're one of those people that really is concerned about what the scale weight says in the morning. So if you're having big meals really late at night, is that going to affect the scale weight in the morning? Is that going to affect how you eat the next day? Because psychologically it's just going to fuck you up. Probably yes. So intermittent fasting realistically is for those that they know they like big meals, but they don't want to spread them out over the day. So this is where we'd say, like, okay, if we were saying a 12 to 8 and we'd have lunch and dinner, depending on where you're from. If it's tea for you, I'm really not that arsed. But if we said 2,000 calorie diet and said 800 lunch, 800 dinner, 400, that's going to set us up quite well and we can still get protein. The thing is, people will mostly get concerned about protein timing and everything else, and I've mentioned this on a live in the past, whereby if we're training early in the morning, where we might be slightly off in terms of performance because energy levels aren't there, is it going to knock on effect to the rest of the day? Potentially. So that's when I would say it's not as effective for the individual. But this is how we would look at it in terms of, I'd look at it on a one-to-one basis and go from there. When we're looking at it from the digestive side of things, we're going to be looking at the fact that if we can't digest the food, if the food's sitting on us a lot during the day, we would either look to space out the meal timings, put in implementations like, is the fibre there in the diet to help digest the food and like help get the weird stuff. I don't want to say the word like excrement out. And are we actually allowing ourselves to get moving, get mobile, and allow the body to do what it needs to do, and not just go and have a meal, sit at a desk, then go and have a meal again later on, which is probably going to be detrimental, especially if you're trying to push food up a little bit. That is a big thing about it. The body's got a self-cleaning system in it. It's like I said this, the Roomba. Your body will basically, if you leave it to sort itself out, it'll go through a self-cleaning process and help it basically just reset the digestive system in the gut. If we're not doing this kind of stuff and we're just constantly hammering the digestive system and just looking like, yeah, no, it'll be fine, it'll just sort itself out, most likely it will not. Another implementation would just be hydration levels and seeing if we are at that right level, but that's going off topic. Intermittent fasting realistically should be down to an individual level, but it also will come down to when you train, when you actually want to eat food, and what kind of food you eat. If you're someone that really leans towards a high carb start of the day, energy production, that kind of things, I wouldn't even look at it. I'd just look to your meal spacing and your meal sizing. That's going to help you out in the long term, and it's not going to make you feel as crap long term down the line for your actual diet, which a lot of people tend to forget about.